I remember the exact moment everything changed. The red and blue lights hadn't even stopped flashing outside our house when my father looked up at me and quietly said, "Son, did I do something wrong?" His voice was weak, fragile, the kind that stays with you long after the moment passes. My 78-year-old father sat in his wheelchair, trying to straighten his back like he needed to defend himself. Like he was about to explain his existence to someone. And outside, the police were standing at our door. All because of one person. The HOA president, Brenda. For weeks, she had been watching us. Complaints about the lawn, the driveway, even how long the trash bins stayed outside. Always something, always a problem. I ignored it because my father didn't need stress. But that day, she crossed a line. A loud knock hit the door. "Police, open up." My hands went cold. I opened it slowly. 2 officers stood there, calm but serious. "Sir, we received a report that an elderly individual here might be neglected." For a second, I couldn't even respond. "Neglected?" I finally said. "You can come inside and see for yourselves." They stepped in. My father noticed them immediately and tried to adjust himself in his chair, like he wanted to look presentable. Like he needed to prove he was okay. "Sir, are you comfortable here?" one officer asked gently. My father gave a small, tired smile. "This is my son. He takes care of me," he said softly. But I saw it in his eyes. Embarrassment. That quiet kind of pain. When someone makes you feel like a burden. That's when I realized this wasn't just a complaint. This was humiliation. And then her voice cut through the air. "Officers, I told you. He's clearly not being taken care of." "Brenda." I turned, and there she was. Arms crossed, chin slightly raised. That look on her face, like she had already won something. Like she was proud of this. The officer stepped outside toward her. "Ma'am, we're handling it." But she didn't stop. He didn't defend himself. And somehow, that hurt more than anything else. The officer came back inside. "Sir, honestly, we don't see any signs of neglect here. Your father is safe." I nodded quietly. But Brenda, she wasn't done. She stood there, eyes filled not with anger, but ego. The kind that refuses to lose. "Then you're not looking closely enough," she snapped. And then, she made the biggest mistake of her life. She pulled out her phone and dialed. "Yes, I need this escalated immediately. This is a serious violation, and I want action taken right now." The officer tried to stop her, but it was too late. My father looked at me again. "Son, maybe I'm the problem here." That broke me. I held his hand tightly. "You're not a problem. Dad, you're my responsibility, my honor." Outside, the wind had picked up. Neighbors stood at a distance, watching, whispering. Everything felt like it had frozen. And then, a black car slowly pulled up at the corner of the street. The door opened, a man stepped out. And the second Brenda saw him, her face lost all its color. Brenda still had her phone in her hand, but now she wasn't speaking. The man walking toward us carried a quiet authority, calm, controlled, but undeniable. One of the officers straightened immediately. "Sir?" Brenda looked confused. Who was that?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The man walked straight past her and stopped in front of my father. He leaned down slightly. "Sir, are you okay?" Respect. Real respect. Something my father hadn't been given all day. My father nodded gently. The man stood up and turned toward Brenda. "Ma'am, you filed the complaint." Brenda lifted her chin, trying to regain control. "Yes, and I stand by it. This man should not be." "Stop. Just one word." And she froze. "I'm from the County Adult Care Oversight Department," he said calmly. "Your call was escalated." For a brief second, Brenda thought she had one. Exactly. Then you understand. Yes, he interrupted. I understand that false reporting is a serious offense. Silence, complete silence. False, Brenda whispered. One of the officers spoke up. Ma'am, we've already assessed the situation. There's no neglect here. The man opened a folder and gestured toward our home. This residence follows a certified in-home care plan. Weekly nurse visits, medication logs. Everything documented. Brenda's face drained completely. That's not possible. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. My father looked at her quietly. No anger, no hatred. Just exhaustion. The man stepped closer to Brenda. Ma'am, you didn't just misuse emergency services. You caused emotional distress to a disabled elderly individual. The street had gone completely silent. Everyone was watching. What does that mean? She asked, her voice barely holding. It means a formal report will be filed against you. Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the ground. I tightened my grip on my father's hand. His fingers were still trembling.
All right.
But this time, he looked at me and gave a small smile. Son, everything's okay now, right? My throat tightened. Yes, Dad, everything's okay now. Brenda tried to speak, but no words came out. Her confidence, her control, everything collapsed right there where she stood. And the worst part, people were watching. The same neighbors she tried to impress. Now, no one looked at her with admiration, not even sympathy, just silence. The man gave a small nod to the officers, then looked at me. You did right by your father. That one sentence lifted a weight I didn't even realize I was carrying. The police left. The car drove away. Neighbors slowly returned to their homes. The street went back to normal. But Brenda, she stayed there, alone, and for the first time, she looked small. I turned my father's wheelchair and took him inside. As I closed the door, I glanced back one last time. She hadn't moved. After that day, she never looked toward our house again. And my father? He never asked, did I do something wrong? Because now, he finally knew. He never did.